Hey everyone, welcome to day 8 of 31 days of Halloween. Today's video is on this Game of Thrones inspired look, so I wanted to do my take on Greyscale. This is inspired by Madeyewlook or Lex here on YouTube. So just as a heads up, I already have a very light layer of foundation on, as well as a very natural set of lashes. So these are Ardell Demi Whispies, and that's about all I have going on. And yeah, it was super simple. This is probably my quickest tutorial yet. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. I'm taking some special effects silicone. This is a little bit more expensive, but it's awesome because it's very movable. You can stretch it, you can move your face, and it's not uncomfortable. So what you do is you have pot A and pot B, and you mix equal parts. You cannot mix A and B, so you cannot dip the spatula, popsicle stick, whatever you might be using, from A into B because it'll cause it to react and your whole thing will be off. So make sure you keep one popsicle stick for A, one for B, and then one for mixing. This stuff is super easy to work with. You have about 5 minutes before it dries. So I worked in small batches because, like I said, it is a little bit more expensive. So I worked in small batches and small patches on my face. That way I could get the best effect. So as you can see, I already did this once, and I tried to do the whole face piece at once, and by the time I got to the bottom, I couldn't draw the lines in it anymore. So I took it off, and it does not hurt to take off. I just have super sensitive skin. So like I said, mixing parts A and B with separate popsicle sticks, and then one for mixing. I'm going to spread this on small sections of my face. And then I actually took a nail tool, and this one's not sharp, it's pretty blunt, and I drew in stone shape. I know it's hard to see because it's clear, but I basically just drew in little squiggle marks that went into the face, and I drew them different sizes. And honestly, this part's really easy because it doesn't have to be perfect because the rock isn't perfect. So you're just going to work in small patches, adding some more after you're done that. And then, like I said, just adding those shapes. I liked them going into the face, so I didn't close them off. That way it looked like the disease was growing. Does that make sense? Also, I figured out why it takes me so long to edit my videos, because half the time I'm editing out like me singing and dancing. No word of a lie. If I stopped doing that, it would be much faster. Gotta have a little fun. You can see I'm just twisting and turning the tool because, like I said, it's not perfect by any means, and the less perfect it looks, the better it actually looks. You'll be able to see the shapes better when we cover them in paint. Next, I'm taking a stippling sponge while the silicone is still tacky, and we're just going to dab into this. So be sure that when you are stippling that you put 99% alcohol on your stippling sponge, and that way it won't stick. We're going to press into it to add some rock-like texture. That way it looks not so perfect. Next, taking my RCMA no color powder, we are going to powder the silicone that we just put on. That way it takes all the tackiness away from it, and it kind of looks more part of our skin. So next, I'm going to move on to the neck piece. So I put one on my neck, one on my shoulder, and one on my chest. I didn't include those because, let me tell you, I had some serious double chins while doing that. So I'm just going to spread some on my neck and then do the exact same steps. So you want to make sure the edges are nice and smooth so that it looks like it's part of your skin. You can see that my skin's red just from rubbing the popsicle stick on it. So that's how sensitive my skin is. So again, taking the same tool and just adding some rock-like pebble shapes. Not perfect at all. And again, taking my stippling sponge and adding a little bit of texture. So next, taking some alcohol activated paints. I'm using these because they stick best on the silicone. As well, they are not going anywhere, so you need to activate them with 99% isopropyl alcohol, and you need to take them off with 99% isopropyl alcohol. So we're going to start off by using the peachy tone. This is going to act as the irritated skin. So I know I did this a little bit backwards. I have my neck piece done already, but it's easiest to show you on the face first. So I'm just going to add this, and then if I feel like it got too dark, I add some of the light shade. A lot of this look is just layering the colors, and you'll get the most realistic effect. So next, taking the Rotter Zombie alcohol activated paint. So I'm taking the gray shade and the light flesh tone shade, and I'm going to mix them together for a lighter gray shade. And I'm just going to stipple this right on the center, because the rock would be in the middle because it would be the most formed, and then cascading into your face, the disease would be less far along. These stippling sponges really help because it breaks up the color and it doesn't look so perfect. You also could have just left it without the gray and had the stage of the grayscale not as far along. And then, like I said, if I thought the color was too concentrated in one area, I went back in with the pale shade and just stippled over it. So it's a lot of layering. So next, moving on to the neck piece, I took the rosy shade, and again, I'm just applying this to the silicone as well as to the skin surrounding it, because that skin would be irritated and it's also growing out. So as you can see, it's a lot of layering. I decided that was too much and I went in with the light shade, then I went back in with the red shade. The more you layer, the better this look gets. Going in with the red shade again, darkening that up. And then, like I said, if the color is too concentrated, just take your fingers and dab it out. Next, taking a light gray shade, again concentrating this in the center of the silicone. And then taking a darker gray shade and stippling that over top. Next, taking the gray shade mixed with a little bit of the pale shade. I'm just going to do this for the pieces on my body just to darken them up and let them be farther along in the disease. And I'm just taking this in the deepest parts of the silicone, where the lines go the deepest. Guys, so if you enjoyed this super quick and easy grayscale tutorial, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you can see the rest of the 31 Days of Halloween videos, and we will see you all tomorrow. Bye everyone.